Hello, I'm John Adams, editor of Digital Photo, and welcome to this Photoshop Made Easy video lesson. Now, red eye is a huge problem because it ruins so many snaps and family portraits. The reason it happens, the reason you get these glowing, devilish looking eyes, is because the flash is too close to the axis of the lens. The way to get rid of red eye is actually to move the flash away from the camera, though of course that's not always possible, particularly with compact cameras, or if you don't have a separate flash gun you can actually trigger via your camera. So when we have a situation where we've got a subject who's susceptible to red eye and we have to use on-camera flash, then chances are we can't avoid red eye, so we've got to find a software method of fixing it. Now, lots of modern software programs are very good at fixing red eye automatically. So it's always worth trying that first, but if you're not successful with the automatic red eye fix, try this method because it always seems to work. The first thing you need to do is zoom in tight on your subject. So we're using elements here, so we'll just zoom in right onto one eye like that. There we go. Now we can hold down the spacebar and scroll around the image. What we're going to do now is pick up the regular lasso tool and we're just going to do a rough selection around the iris, making sure we're taking all the pupil like so. What we don't want to do is stray onto the eyelids because they contain some red as well. So make sure you're within the iris when you make your selection. Once you've done that, hold down the spacebar and scroll across to the other eye. Hold down the shift key because that's add to selection. That means that this area you're selecting will be added to the other area, and then you'll have both eyes like so. Okay, now we just want to zoom out a bit, so we'll just hold down Control and tap the minus key a couple of times. And now we're going to open the Hue Saturation palette. This is really quick to do, just hit Control and U on the keyboard. That shortcut works in Elements or in Photoshop, so that should do the trick nicely. With the Hue Sat palette up on screen, where it says Master, click there and select Reds from the list. This means that the Hue Saturation palette is only going to seek out areas which are within the selection you've made and are coloured red. Once you've done that, move saturation all the way to the left, so it reads -100. You can see the colours taken out there, and then with lightness selected, just move that slider all the way to the left as well. And look at that, the red in the eyes has gone black. Now, if your picture now looks okay, just click OK at that point. But here you can see we've got a little bit of fringing going on around the highlight in the eyes, and that's magenta coloured. So before we click OK, we're just going to select magentas from that same list in the edit box. Then we're going to do the same thing again. Just move saturation to the left. You can see that's turn that magenta to grey, and then lightness all the way to the left, and it's gone. Click OK, and look at that. We've fixed our red eye problem. So hit Control and D to get rid of the marching ants around the eyes, and problem solved. We have our red eye fixed. Now, because that's rather rapid, let's just go through it once more. I'm just going to undo to get back to where we started from. There we go. And there we have our subject with very red looking eyes. Just run through it once more, zoom in tight onto one eye like so, and then pick up the freehand lasso tool and just make a rough selection staying within the iris. There we go. Hold down the spacebar to scroll across to the other eye, then hold down the shift key to add to the selection and make a selection around the second eye. Okay, that's that bit done. Now we can zoom back a bit by holding down the Control key and tapping the minus key a few times. And then we need to open up our Hue Saturation palette. Control and U to open the Hue Sat palette. And then what we need to do is click in the edit box where it says Master and select Reds. Once Reds is in that box there, move saturation all the way to the left and then lightness all the way to the left. That gives us nice black eyes. That's normally where you'd stop, but if you have a bit of magenta in your red eye as well, simply select magenta in the edit box. There we go. And do the same thing again. Saturation to the left, lightness to the left. Click OK. Then hit Control and D to get rid of the marching ants, and you've fixed your red eye. Let's just double click the hand tool to come back to full screen. And there we have a perfectly cured red eye picture. So, if your automated red eye reduction functions in the camera or in your software don't work, use that technique because it always does work. Alright, thanks for listening. Give that a whirl with your pictures.